You are watching this video on YouTube, which means right now you are watching ads you didn't ask for. You can't play this video in the background without paying, and you can't see how many people disliked the last video you watched. That wasn't always the case. For years, a group of volunteer developers, nobody famous, nobody paid, people who just loved Android and hated unnecessary restrictions, built an app that gave every one of those features back, for free, to anyone who wanted it. It was called YouTube Vanced. At its peak, it had over 10 million active users worldwide, and on March 13, 2022, Google sent them a letter, not a thank you, not a job offer. The developers of YouTube Vanced announced that the application would be shut down after they received a cease and desist letter from Google, which forced the developers to stop developing and distributing the app. 10 million users, volunteer developers. A free app that gave people features Google had locked behind a paywall, and Google's lawyers made it disappear overnight. But that's just the beginning of what Google has done to control how you watch YouTube, because since 2021, they removed your ability to see dislikes, declared war on your ad blocker, raised their prices twice, and started hiding features from anyone who refuses to pay. This is the story of YouTube's war on its own users and the community that keeps fighting back. To understand why people loved Vanced so deeply, you need to understand what watching YouTube actually felt like without it. Multiple unskippable ads before a video, more ads in the middle of the video, a video that pauses the moment your phone screen turns off, no picture-in-picture without paying, no background play without paying, features that every other video app on earth gave you for free, locked behind YouTube's $13.99 a month subscription. And in 2017, a developer on XDA Developers Forum, a community where Android enthusiasts share code and modifications, going by the username Master T, decided to do something about it. On February 21, 2017, XDA Developers user Master T injected the functions of a background playback module into the YouTube APK file itself, releasing it as IYTBP, short for Injected YouTube Background Playback. Not a corporation, not a startup with venture capital. One person on a forum solving a problem for their community. The project name was changed from IYTBP to Vanced on March 4, 2018. The name was a deliberate statement. Vanced, advanced with the AD removed. The mission was in the name. And then the team grew. More developers joined, more features appeared. Between 2019 and 2021, YouTube Vanced reached its peak popularity. The development team expanded, adding new features regularly and maintaining compatibility with the latest YouTube updates. Ad blocking that actually worked. Background play videos kept running when your screen turned off. True picture-in-picture, an AMOLED black theme that saved battery on modern phones, swipe controls for volume and brightness, and Sponsor Block, a crowdsourced system that automatically skips sponsor segments inside videos. It peaked at 500 million downloads before the end. 500 million downloads. Built by volunteers, distributed for free, doing what the official app refused to do. Like and subscribe because after this video we're covering Amazon Alexa, the smart speaker in people's homes that Amazon employees were actively listening through, and the recordings that never got deleted even after users asked Amazon to erase them. Before Vanced was killed, Google made another move against its own users that most people have already forgotten. On November 10, 2021, Google announced that the YouTube dislike count would be removed. Additionally, the dislike field in the YouTube API was removed on December 13, 2021, removing any ability to judge the quality of content before watching. YouTube's official explanation: they were protecting creators from harassment campaigns. The real context: YouTube's own Rewind 2018 video had become the most disliked video in the platform's history. YouTube Rewind 2019 and 2020 were also catastrophically disliked. And the YouTube announcement post about removing dislikes, the post telling people they were removing dislikes, was itself immediately ratioed with dislikes before the feature was turned off. While many online commentators believe that YouTube got rid of the dislike count because of the embarrassment of Rewind 2018, Google maintains that its decision has nothing to do with that. Instead, it says the decision is a positive step for creators' mental health. A feature that helped you decide whether a tutorial actually worked, whether a product review was trustworthy, whether a news report was accurate, removed. For creator well-being, the community responded immediately. A developer named Dmitry Selivanov built an extension called Return YouTube Dislike. It restored the count using archived data and crowdsourced estimates from extension users. Return YouTube Dislike aims to restore power to users by using a combination of archived like and dislike data as well as the likes and dislikes made by extension users to show the most accurate ratings. It currently has almost a billion videos data stored before December 13, 2021. A billion videos of data preserved by volunteers because Google tried to erase it. This was 2021, Vanced was still alive. The war had already started. On March 13, 2022, the Vanced team posted a message that sent shockwaves through the Android community. "We are aware that some of you are disappointed. We are also disappointed," the developers wrote, confirming the immediate halt to development and support. They had received Google's cease and desist. The exact contents were never made public, but the requirements were clear. The Vanced team was required to immediately cease all development and distribution, remove download links and APK files from their servers, discontinue use of YouTube trademarks and branding, shut down official channels and community platforms, and stop accepting donations and close all funding channels. Every channel, every download link, every way of getting the app, gone. Within hours, Reddit threads discussing the shutdown accumulated thousands of comments. Users expressed frustration, disappointment, and gratitude for the years of service. Many began searching for alternatives immediately, while others stockpiled the last available Vanced APK, hoping it would continue working. Stockpiling an APK, like storing medicine before it gets discontinued. Google's stated reasons for the action: violation of YouTube's terms of service, since YouTube Vanced bypassed advertisements, which is one of YouTube's primary revenue sources. Competing with YouTube Premium, many of the features offered by Vanced, such as ad-free viewing and background playback, were locked behind YouTube's paid subscription plan. An unauthorized use of YouTube's intellectual property, Vanced was built using YouTube's official app as a base. Let's be honest about what those reasons actually mean. Reason 1, Vanced stopped Google making money from ads. True. Reason 2, Vanced gave people features Google was selling for $13.99 a month. True. Reason 3, Vanced was built on top of YouTube's code. Also true. Google had every legal right to send that letter. That doesn't mean it wasn't a corporation using copyright law to destroy something 10 million people valued because it threatened their revenue. Google's decision to shut down Vanced likely stemmed from multiple factors that finally tipped the scales from tolerating to taking action. With over 10 million active users, Vanced represented significant potential revenue loss. The lawyers arrived exactly when the numbers got too big to ignore. Vanced was gone, but the war didn't stop there. In 2023, YouTube launched what users started calling the ad blocker crackdown. YouTube's crackdown on browser extensions that bypass pre-roll ads had huge ramifications, with some ad blockers seeing as many as 50,000 uninstalls in a single day. The message that began appearing read, "Ad blockers are not allowed on YouTube. Ad blockers are not allowed on a free website in your browser that you own." The message blocked access to videos until users whitelisted YouTube in their ad blocker preferences or subscribed to YouTube Premium, which costs $13.99 per month. Accept the ads, or pay $13.99 a month, or stop watching YouTube. And here's what happened at exactly the same time. In July 2023, the company raised prices for the YouTube Premium individual plan by $2 in the US. And just days after YouTube's crackdown on ad blockers went global, the company raised prices internationally, in Germany, Australia, Austria, Chile, Poland, Turkey, and other countries. They made the free alternative impossible and raised the price of the paid one in the same week. YouTube's advertising business continues to grow. Ad revenue is projected to hit $36.1 billion in 2025, marking a 14.6% increase compared to 2024. $36 billion in ad revenue, growing 14.6% year over year, while making it harder than ever to avoid seeing those ads. And by February 2026, YouTube has been hiding more features from ad blocker users, like lyrics, background play, and offline downloads, behind a paywall, with YouTube giving no statement on whether this is a bug or a permanent change. Features behind features behind features behind a paywall. Each one something that Vanced gave you for free. Each one something that disappeared when the volunteers got the lawyer's letter. Here's the part of this story that actually gives me hope. The same day Vanced announced its shutdown, developers in the community started building its successor. ReVanced was built on 3 core principles designed to avoid Vanced's fate. No APK distribution. Instead of providing modified apps, ReVanced distributes patches that users apply to their own legally obtained YouTube APK files. Open source transparency. All code is publicly available on GitHub. And no commercial activity, no donations, no monetization, no commercial services, purely community-driven. That third principle is important. No money, no donations. The thing Google attacked Vanced for, potential revenue loss, ReVanced made structurally impossible. ReVanced has over 10,000 stars on GitHub and remains in active development in 2025 and 2026. Patches drop weekly after YouTube updates. Google has been quiet since 2023. Google went quiet because ReVanced learned from what happened to Vanced and rebuilt around those lessons. This is the part of the video where I usually recommend something on Amazon. Not today, because the product this video is pointing toward was built by the same kind of volunteers who built Vanced. It's free, it has no ads, and it's available right now while Google isn't looking. ReVanced, available at github.com. ReVanced is the currently active successor to Vanced. It patches the official YouTube APK on your own device, meaning you download YouTube yourself. ReVanced modifies it locally, and nothing modified ever leaves your phone. NewPipe, available at newpipe.net, is a completely separate open-source YouTube client that doesn't use Google's API at all. No Google account needed, no tracking, background play, downloads, no ads, Legal because it uses YouTube's public data, not their proprietary code. Both are free. Both are built by people who asked the same question Vanced developers asked: why is Google charging you for features that shouldn't cost anything? Links to both are in the description. Install instructions take 5 minutes. Use them while you can because Google has lawyers and the community has GitHub. Let's look at what YouTube has done since 2021 in a straight line. November 2021 removed the dislike count. Community Built returned YouTube dislike in days. March 2022 killed Vanced with a cease and desist. Community Built ReVanced in weeks. 2023 launched global ad blocker crackdown. Community built new blocking methods within days. Raised YouTube premium prices in the same month. Community found workarounds within hours. 2026 hiding features from ad blocker users. Community documenting and routing around every restriction. Google appears to be trapped in a hamster wheel with its efforts against ad blockers, with users coming up with new ingenious ways to bypass its restrictions continuously. A hamster wheel. That is the perfect description. Google blocks. Community routes around, Google blocks again, community routes around again. And in the middle of that hamster wheel, $36 billion in annual ad revenue, growing every year, regardless. Every other video on this channel is about a company betraying people who trusted it. This one is different. YouTube Vanced wasn't betrayal by a company its users trusted, it was a betrayal of a community by a corporation that never wanted them to have what they built. The developers were volunteers, they made no money, they asked for nothing except the ability to keep building something people found useful. Vanced wasn't just about avoiding ads, one former longtime user noted after the shutdown. It was about reclaiming control over my device and my media consumption habits. It provided features Google deliberately withheld, reclaiming control. That phrase matters, because the through line of every story on this channel, CCleaner, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Spotify, Zoom, is the same question underneath them all. Who controls the software you use every day? With CCleaner, you thought you controlled your PC. The software did. With WhatsApp, you thought you controlled your conversations. Meta did. With YouTube Vanced, 10 million people found a way to actually control their experience, and Google sent a lawyer to take that control back. The story of YouTube Vanced serves as a cautionary tale about the complexities of software modification and the extent to which corporations should control user experiences. The story of YouTube Vanced serves as a cautionary tale about the complexities of software modification and the extent to which corporations should control user experiences. The cautionary tale isn't about what the Vanced team did wrong. They knew the legal risk. They built something extraordinary anyway. The cautionary tale is about what happens when the most powerful corporation in digital advertising decides that your experience using their platform is less important than their $36 billion ad revenue. The Vanced team got the letter. They shut it down. They were disappointed. They said so honestly. And then the community built ReVanced. Because that's what communities do when corporations take something away. They build it again. Drop in the comments, did you use YouTube Vanced? Are you using ReVanced or NewPipe right now? And did you know Google killed it with a lawyer's letter? Subscribe because next we're covering Amazon Alexa, the smart speaker sitting in your living room that Amazon employees were listening to, and the recordings that stayed on Amazon's servers even after users specifically asked them to delete everything.